Hey everybody, welcome back to part 3 of the Incarnation speculation. So far we've looked at 8 of the existing incarnations that have been revealed via the Indiegogo. And don't forget, www.support-indivisible.com. Download the demo and donate today! I'm going to start off by saying that I'm not really jazzed for 3/4 of this video's character coverage. Not too much. I still like them all, but they're definitely not my favorites. So I'm going to be a bit more energetic and wild for this one just to compensate, alright? So let's get into this thing! First on today's docket is Caldi. Caldi is the kind of character I look at and think, let's mix two things that never go together and actually make a really great character. Starting out his life as a coffee bean farmer and goat herder, he actually loves the idea of collecting and making and crafting his own throwing knives. He chooses to fight against the Iron Kingdom, and he makes a mean cup of joe. Starting with his neutral attack, since he's big on using his throwing weapons, let's treat him as such. Imagining him picking a target and then chucking them, but as you toss them you'd be able to change targets mid-attack. This would give you the ability to focus on a target and move them into position or to hit multiple targets and spread your damage. For Caldi's up attack, let's take advantage of his farmhand skills and field cropping. Caldi could run up to a target and try and take a nice slice out of his opponents. And for a down attack, an all-range move where Caldi showers down a few throwing knives. The initial target would be the epicenter, and then the attack would be able to hit nearby targets at a random amount, delivering consistent but again random damage. Second on the list is Toko. Toko is the only surviving Resolute in Yashima. The eldest of 9 siblings now passed, she survives for the sole purpose of enlightening souls and vanquishing evil before the end of days. Her sword is as strong as her convictions, and her true power is yet to be discovered. Her rather interesting choice of weapons also pushes a bit of her religious views and gives you a bit more information about her character. Wielding 2 swords that come together like a cross, we could easily divide up her skill sets between short sword and long sword attacks. For a simple neutral attack, let's do like a quick draw slash. Toko could engage an opponent and perform a very fast drawing slash and resheathing in the blink of an eye. Almost unseeable, but a basic hit with decent damage and a little bit of pushback. For Toko's up attack, drawing on the long sword in her arsenal, she draws it out and focuses for a moment, then delivers a powerful slash that hits the initial target and a few targets behind it up to a certain distance. Due to her focus, using this in combos will require other party members keeping the target steady and relatively low to the ground. Finally, for the down attack, Toko makes a mighty vow and then unsheaths both of her swords. The first attack would be with her short sword, striking the target and hitting it on both sides and possibly any enemies around it. And then the second slash using her long sword, hitting the initial target and sending a mean shockwave that hits everything behind it in a single line. While the strike makes it look like a T, she still stands as the head of her own cross that she delivers, which will give more back to her character's overall look and ideas. Third up is George the Dragon Slayer, a man who loyally serves the Iron Kingdom by slaying any trouble that he may find within the kingdom's boundaries. His tool of the trade is a sick-ass lance called Scalebane, which was crafted alongside his armor and gear from his very first kill. Looking at George, I honestly am not feeling this guy. And I don't dislike him, but he's not someone I'm going to use a lot unless his actions and acting really sell me later on. His weapon, however, looks really cool though, using the dragon's tail as the actual spear tip, meat and all. He and Phoebe might pair well together as combatants, and they probably might do some similar combative things. Beginning with a neutral attack, the most classic of moves is a pole thrust. I'm imagining Donatello's mashable poking attack from TMNT Tournament Fighters, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, then you can go Google that. Pause this video, Google it, and come right back. I promise you, you are missing out. With an up attack, we can keep the train rolling with classic polearm techniques that we see in video games. Everyone is very familiar with the classic twirling of the staff or polearm skill, and it's either used offensively or defensively. Well, for this situation, it would clearly be an offensive option. George could run in up to a target, or even get into the middle of a group of targets and let the spear start twirling. This could hit all around, it could hit a line of targets, or a single target and do multiple hits for damage. Finishing off his standard moveset with a down attack, let's take some inspiration from Beowulf's chairless crouching heavy kick and give George a big powerful sweeping attack. This move could hit a few characters in a row and knock them up into the air by just a little bit. And similar to Beowulf's ability to tech roll after the move, George could do the same, and then spend another action gauge while facing in a new direction. This would give him some really gnarly space control and some very dangerous options. Now, I have saved literally the best of this video for last. Baozai. This gorgeous she-devil of the seas is a notorious pirate who is rumored to have a heart of gold. Both the Iron Kingdom and the Jade Dynasty can't stop her from her unrevealed motives. This pirate is probably one of my favorite incarnations so far, and is definitely going to be a part of my team, if not my endgame unit specifically. Sporting a spear attached to her waist and a cannon on her shoulder, she's going to have a lot of utility and variety with her attacks. And honestly, she reminds me a lot of Ruby Heart from Marvel vs. Capcom 2. And I really love Ruby Heart. Starting with a neutral attack, Baozai could use her large dragonfish cannon to shoot a single target, and depending on what type of equipment or weapon you have, the cannon round could have different effects, such as status inflictions, damage radiuses, or variable damage amounts, or even things like momentum or bouncing around the arena. This again gives you lots of options in combat, which the game really wants you to have. For an upward attack, we've got her spear and rope to still play with, so a simple slamming down a column of targets makes good use of a ranged weapon and delivering decent damage to multiple targets. And finally, for a nice sickening down attack, our pirate-worthy move would be to load her spear into her cannon and shoot it, dragging targets back to her position on the roster. Not only would the spear hit its target, but could also impale any targets along the way and drag them all back. Again, this is a type of move that would take setup, which means comboing into it requires proper planning beforehand so it doesn't miss and lose out on its maximum potential. This is as Ruby Heart as we can get, and I am all for this character. Well, that about wraps up our third installation of Incarnation Speculations. Reminder, these are only theories and ideas about what we could expect from the full version of the game. None of the things that I have mentioned in this video are fact or going to be seen in the future. One more time, just theories. Be sure to leave your comments, ideas, and even your own theories in the comments below. And of course, make sure to subscribe for more content in the future. If you haven't donated or played the prototype, make sure to check the links below in the description and have yourself a blast. Once again, I'm Maguma, and I'll see you all in the next video.